Hello and welcome to Rate That Character! This is a series Source Gaming runs, where they go over a possible contender for a new character in Super Smash Bros., rate their chances for being playable with pros and cons, and give them a score out of 100. That out of the way, I am not a member of Source Gaming. Hi, my name is AShadowLink, it's not my real name, and the thoughts expressed in this video do not reflect that of Masahiro Sakurai, all of Source Gaming, or anyone else's but my own. I am here to talk about today's character. Shin Megami Tensei is a beloved and monumental RPG series from the storied developers at Atlus. You might be more aware of its spin-offs than the main series due to the decision to slap Shin Megami Tensei on every game under the brand when the series came west. The original game, Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei, was based on a novel, but the sequel told a more original story, and that sequel was partially remade into Shin Megami Tensei, the game that defined the series. It was revolutionary for taking place in a world founded in reality, a post-apocalyptic setting wherein Tokyo is ravaged and destroyed by nuclear fallout, and demons and creatures of folklore pour in from another realm to wreak havoc. The core pillar of the games is the ability to recruit these demons by talking to them and convincing them to join your side through various means of coercion. You can recruit interpretations of classic folklore like Jack Frost and the Mothman, and even some gods like Loki and Thor. The demon compendium of Shin Megami Tensei is ever far-reaching, and the demons do make the face of the franchise, but they are wild and unruly without a summoner to order them into battle. And that's where our character of the day comes in. The protagonists of Shin Megami Tensei are the player characters, and they are mostly mute and without much dialogue. However, Flynn is a bit different. Flynn is the protagonist of Shin Megami Tensei 4, but he takes on a non-playable role in its alternate timeline sequel, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. In Apocalypse, he is given the chance to show his bravery and heroism in the face of danger, making him the most developed protagonist in the series. And his home game, Shin Megami Tensei 4, is responsible for revitalizing the franchise into its current state. Now, why Shin Megami Tensei and not its much more popular child series, Persona? Well, for one, Nintendo relevance and loyalty. Megami Tensei has long been exclusive to Nintendo, and while two games did indeed leave for other platforms, with Strange Journey on the DS, the main series has stayed exclusive to Nintendo platforms. And the latest and biggest game in the series, Shin Megami Tensei 5, is arriving on Nintendo Switch in the near future. Persona, on the other hand, has only had one, soon-to-be two, spin-offs on Nintendo platforms, with all of its main entries being exclusive to PlayStation. To add to that, Nintendo and Atlus partnered to make a crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem. While the final crossover ended up not making much use of anything Shin Megami Tensei aside from taking place in Tokyo, the names of attacks, and an occasional Jack Frost cameo, there was once a time when Shin Megami Tensei characters, including Flynn, stood side by side with Fire Emblem characters and current Smash fighters like Chrom and Lucina. But enough of the history lesson, let's get right into Flynn's potential as a fighter. While Flynn, of course, can make use of his blade and demon summoning, Shin Megami Tensei 4 introduced a new mechanic to the series called Demon Whispering. Demon Whispering lets the player learn almost any attack in the game from any demon. This gives Flynn enormous moveset potential on top of being able to summon demons. Once upon a time, pre-Smash 4, I drafted a moveset for Flynn that made use of every elemental spell type from Shin Megami Tensei 4. And ironically, Robin ended up doing something very similar. So for the sake of variety, Flynn's ability to summon demons could be his focus. And on that note, we do not have a fully fledged summoner in Smash yet. The closest being the Pokemon trainer. Only you control the Pokemon rather than the trainer. With Flynn, it would be the opposite. For example, in this hypothetical scenario, Flynn could make use of some of the most iconic demons in the franchise as his specials. He could summon the Jack Bros, Jack Frost, Pyro Jack, and, well, this one is called a Jack the Ripper, but the Virtual Boy calls him Jack Skeleton, so let's not talk about that. Unfortunately, Flynn is, of course, only the protagonist of the fourth numbered game in the series. Each Shin Megami Tensei game basically starts fresh in a completely new scenario, and none of them are really that connected. There is no overarching protagonist of the whole series, so it would be a Fire Emblem type situation. I don't know if Flynn would get in before the hero, the protagonist of the very first Shin Megami Tensei, but they would operate similarly enough that maybe a situation similar to that of Simon and Richter Belmont, where the earlier character gains some abilities of the later character, could happen. Flynn is also not the most popular protagonist of the series. Within the fanbase, it's demi-themed, protagonist of the third numbered game Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, which was for the PlayStation 2. However, I don't think Demi-Fiend has quite enough sway and popularity for another Cloud situation to occur because this topic itself is obscure enough as is. And finally, as I said prior, the demons are the face of the franchise. While I don't find the concept of a Shin Megami Tensei character in Smash to be too far-fetched, as it is a prolific series in its own right, a demon like Jack Frost would probably enter the fray before one of the Godslayers. So, while I may personally be gunning for the protagonist of one of my favorite games in one of my favorite series to be playable in Smash, I really don't see it happening now. Specifically, not with Flynn, and not with Smash Ultimate. All of the characters revealed so far have been highly requested and very popular, in a niche series like Shin Megami Tensei getting a fighter in this climate seems unlikely. Maybe next time. Thanks for watching today's Rate That Character. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it around. Let us know in the comments what you think about today's character and leave suggestions for a future RTC. Also, if you like me, AShadowLink, let Source Gaming know that you'd like me to be back on the show. I thank all of the patrons of Source Gaming for making this possible, in particular, their super patron, the Duke of Dorks. A link to his channel will be in the description. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date, and always remember to return to the source.